So, just came home from work. I can't complain. It's not really a bad of a day. Just a bit of a somber one. And I realized halfway I was close to my house. And I realized, man, this really sucks. I, it just hit me that even though here's the deal. So this patient, he's a Vietnamese man. So I remember him from being in the ICU a few months back, and it was before Christmas. And they all said that he wasn't gonna make it. He was just downhill. And everybody's like, oh, just doubtful. He wasn't gonna make it. But somehow, when I came back, he wasn't there anymore. So I asked, like, oh yeah, he's on the floor. And I'm like, oh yeah. I was so happy for him. Because the man has 4 kids, and his oldest is a doctor. And the thing is that they're not from Houston. They're actually from Kansas. And they were all here, and even his wife. So his whole entire family was here. And I can't imagine how long they've been here. But I also remember them even way before they were in ICU. I met him on the floor, and he's with his daughter. And then as soon as I met him the next day, actually way before, not really way before, just the day before. And then the next day, immediately he came to the ICU. And then I met his whole entire family. They were waiting for his oldest to come, flying in from Kansas, and they were all there. So Sunday, actually, let me start. So he left and he went back to the floor. And then Christmas Day, his son rolls him down in the ICU. Nothing critical, just to have him visit all the nurses, which he really didn't remember, because when you're in there and you're being intubated, they put you on all these drugs and it causes psychosis, so you don't really remember anything. So I was happy. I was just happy to see him, and he didn't remember me, obviously, but I remembered him, and I remembered his son. And I was just happy that he looked really good. So this past Sunday, he rolls down, he comes back, and I saw his daughter, and I go, oh no, he's back here? And she goes, yes. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just something temporary. And I told him, like, you just need to relax. I was speaking to him in Vietnamese. It's like, yeah, you should just, don't worry, relax and rest. So I think that was Sunday or maybe Thursday. Okay, whatever. So no, that was Thursday. That that he came in. And then Sunday they said that this past Sunday he said, oh yeah, we're just going to make him comfortable. And I go, why? I was like, oh, he refused to be intubated. And I go, oh, well, that's understandable. A lot of patients are pretty terrified of being intubated. It's not comfortable, and it's very common that they're just traumatized from all the medication that is put in them and causes psychosis. I guess one of the PA said that it's very terrifying. The patients told him that it was terrifying. It was kind of, they compared it to being, I guess it was the patient was a Vietnamese guy. He said was comparable or maybe worse than being stuck in a Vietnamese prison in a hole. So you can imagine, right? So today he passed, which I was surprised because it took him a while and everybody was surprised. Like, I came in, well, yesterday he was still good. His daughter said he was doing the same, and then today he passed. And just I want to say something because I've experienced something in the same hospital, but I can't really overstep my boundaries. So I really wanted to say, like, hey, it's okay, I've been where you've been. It hurts, but what I realized when I was driving home and I was almost to my house, so it's like, dang, I get to go home and they've just lost somebody, and yet I get to go home to my house, which is not far, while they've just lost somebody. They're head of their house, somebody that raised them, and I get to go home, and that really sucks. I feel guilty because they live far, and they've probably been here for months. Cancer really sucks. And they have to go home. They're stuck here. I mean, until like they send the body over to where they're from, where they live in their own home state. And they're sad and mourning their loss, and I get to go home and move on, wait for the next day. I don't know about you. I don't know if you guys, those of you who work in healthcare, how do you feel? Do you feel guilty? Or are you robotic at times? I mean, sometimes I notice, like, when a family has lost a patient, their loved one, they just carry on, and is that okay? Is that normal? I don't know. This is gonna be like stuck here for a while. I told my mom, she's like, well, people die every day, which is not really like a good response. You have to think about these things. And another thing is like, okay, so my Asian people, we have this community thing where we feel we don't need to go to the doctor unless it's a last resort. So it's a last resort, like we pretty much, even if we like fell and we like probably think we broke something, we just wait until like 2 days after to see if it actually is broken. Like, my mom fell outside and she tripped over a hose, and she didn't go to work for like 2 days. And I go, well, are you gonna go to work? And she's like, I don't know, it hurts. I was like, well, let me see. Is it dangling? Can you move your arm? Here goes my Tex-Mex. Can you move your arm? And now she's like, it hurts when it moves. I was like, well, it's probably just bruised. I mean, You said you were going to the ER. Well, I don't know what you're waiting for. If it's broken, you should have went already. But I was like, I checked and I was like, it's not dangling. Obviously, there's no bones sticking out. It's just bruised. She's like, maybe it's a hairline fracture. Like, if it's a hairline fracture, then maybe, if you're not sure if it's a hairline fracture, maybe you should go to the hospital. But most likely, I think it's just bruised. And that's why it hurts. That's what happens. But that's an emergent thing. My point is, my Asian people, the Asian community, the culture is that they'd rather not go to the doctor unless they really have to. And that's not okay. That's not okay, people. Like, just the whole point of going to the doctor and getting a checkup is to preventive care. Preventive care. Please go to the doctor. Get checkups. Check your sugar. Watch your weight. Listen to your doctor. Not all doctors are going to be good and honest to you, and sometimes they do take your money, but that's besides the point. There are some good doctors out there. Get a recommendation from a friend. I definitely will recommend one to you if you live here in Houston. I know a good gynecologist. But, yeah. Preventive care. I'm just gonna leave with that. That's the whole point of going to your checkups. Because if it's too late, okay, so I'm not gonna leave it off of there. The thing is, I lost my uncle, and I lost him to cancer too. And so what happened was that one time, eventually his face started to droop, and they thought it was a stroke. But then a year later, they found out it was a tumor in his brain. A year later, how is that possible? I just don't understand. So yeah, preventive care, you guys, it's very important. There's things that I haven't gotten to do, but I'll eventually get to it. I will this year, I promise. Everything else, healthcare wise, I do, but there's some particular things it's just like, I don't know. But I will. I can't preach something I don't practice, but I do everything. Eye doctor, gynecologist, endocrinologist, and I work out, but I make sure my numbers are good. So I'm gonna leave with that. Preventive care, everyone. Make sure you go to the doctor. Get a checkup. Even it's a clinic, the Ready Clinic. That's HEB. That's Texas. But yeah. Have a good night.